What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update, and happy Black Friday to you. Real quick, if you've been thinking about joining my program where I teach people how to sell products on Amazon, and you can basically replace your entire 9 to 5 income with just one product on Amazon, I have a Black Friday discount code in the description down below. So if you're thinking about joining my Amazon seller program, then do it now while the Black Friday discount is on. In this video, we will hear from the White House regarding stimulus, some breaking news on the vaccine, and another stimulus program that is being passed and sent out right now. I'm going to give you all the details of it in this video. But first, if you're new, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos. And don't forget to give this video a like if you haven't yet. It really helps out our channel. Okay, first up, President Donald Trump says that the vaccine will start deliveries as early as next week. The vaccines will go out first to frontline workers, medical personnel, and seniors. President Trump says the whole world is suffering and we are rounding the curve. However, he argued that his opponent, Joe Biden, should not be given credit for the vaccines, which he referred to as a medical miracle. He says Joe Biden failed with the swine flu, the H1N1, and totally failed with the swine flu. Don't let him take credit for the vaccines because the vaccines were me. And I pushed people harder than they've ever been pushed before. And we got that approved, and nobody's ever seen anything like it. Within the last 48 hours, the U.S. recorded over 2,300 deaths in just one day from the virus, which is getting close to an all-time high. We do have an all-time high of cases going on within the last week or so, averaging around 170 to 180,000 new cases. With our high of 200,000 new positive cases in just one day, that was about a week ago, and we're now starting to see the deaths creep up as, it takes several days from when you catch the virus. Next up, let's hear from White House trade advisor Peter Navarro regarding the next stimulus package and the next stimulus check.
And now there are new signs of a slowdown in jobs as coronavirus cases rise and these lockdowns return. Jobless claims increasing for a second straight week at 778,000 Americans filing for unemployment. More than 6 million Americans total now receiving unemployment benefits, a figure that had been declining in recent months. Let's bring in White House trade advisor Peter Navarro to talk about all of this. Peter, thank you so much. We're grateful for a little bit of your time on this holiday week. Unfortunately, we just watched this story from Jeff Paul kind of highlighting some of the struggles that restaurants and many other businesses are facing as these regulations kick in, as we've seen this surge in coronavirus happening in communities across the country. Where do we find that balance? As we know, there are some difficult times ahead over the holidays for folks that won't be working in some places.
We're not finding it in New York or Los Angeles. I think it's, with the last restaurants leaving L.A. and Manhattan, please turn the lights out. De Blasio, I think they're going to rename Manhattan, New York, the Little Apple in his regard. Molly, let me give you the big picture as we move into this lockdown economy, because there's the good, there's the bad, and the ugly. And the punchline's going to be we got to get a Phase 4 bill passed on the Hill forthwith. Here's the good news. Q2 consumption was off the charts, 40%, never seen it in history. We've got really strong home sales, both existing and new home sales. Durable goods, our core capital goods, off the charts. That means manufacturing strong, and the GDP revision held firm at 33% without any signs of inflation, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, here's the bad news. As you said, unemployment insurance claims are up. Bad. Personal income is going down. Now, you put those two things together and you ask yourself, why is that happening? And here's the problem. If you look at kind of the trajectory of the three phases of stimulus and relief, it looks like a mountain, right? We peaked some months ago, and what we're doing is all of infusions of cash into the economy have been going down like this. So we have what I call a second derivative problem. The first derivative is things are improving, but the second derivative is they're doing it at a slower rate. What does that mean? It means, Molly, that we are facing a chasm that we are likely to go into unless we act now. Now, what do we have to do?
So basically, he's saying there that if we don't act before the end of the year, we're basically facing our own fiscal cliff. The Americans and the American economy, especially with all these unemployment benefits that are going to be expiring at the end of the year, those extended week benefits, the 13 weeks extended because of this pandemic, and unemployment benefits for independent contractors and gig workers. And there's all sorts of benefits that are going to be expiring at the end of the year, the eviction moratorium and the student loan repayments that have been paused this year. And we're likely going to need another stimulus package passed before the end of the year to get all this stuff kind of back on the table, along with stimulus checks and unemployment checks and more mortgage and rental relief checks.
And you mentioned one of the saddest parts of what's been happening with the coronavirus is some businesses shutting down, and as you mentioned, unlikely to reopen. Shifting gears a little bit, you did talk about some of the good news. Here's a quote. This is the Wall Street Journal highlighting the Dow, really remarkable numbers this week. The American economy is a wonderful engine of prosperity left to its own devices, and on Tuesday it proved this again with another surge in equity prices that pushed the Dow Jones Industrial Average above 30,000 for the first time. Stock prices rise and fall, but this symbolic milestone of optimism for the future shows the economy's resilience despite the COVID-19 plague. So resilience, that sounds wonderful, and for folks that have some money in the stock market could be good news for them. But what does it mean for those folks that are out of work right now? When you see these great numbers, something to celebrate, talking about the power of our economy possibly bouncing back. We do have the vaccine. Potentially folks might be getting it a few weeks from now. I mean, do those things tie together for a much better January, February, March, April, something to look forward to post-holiday?
Let's first understand the source of the resilience. It's basically the 5 points of the Trump administration's policy compass. You got like the tax cuts, the deregulation, the fair trade. You've got strategic energy dominance, and you've got strong defense spending. Now, I'm fully anticipating a second Trump term. But if you have a flip of any or all 5 of those, all of that resilience goes away. Number one. And number two, as I laid out just earlier here, we are facing a chasm here because of the fiscal stimulus and relief packages going down, and we're entering a lockdown, Molly, a second wave of this lockdown. And those twin forces are going to really hit us in a way that unless Capitol Hill gets its act together and steps into that breach, to mix metaphors there, we're going to have an issue. So this is what the forecast looks like. So on this day, let's be clear what Capitol Hill has been informed of. There's trouble ahead. They need to act now. They can't wait until millions more Americans fall into that chasm and won't be able to get out. Molly, you lose small businesses, you lose them forever.
I think a lot of people will be putting pressure on their representatives. Yeah,
that would be a
like
good
I said,
thing
one
to
of
do.
the saddest stories of this coronavirus are these family businesses that are just struggling to stay on pace. Peter Navarro, thank you so much for joining us.
So there you heard him, Peter Navarro, White House trade advisor, saying we absolutely need more stimulus before the end of the year, or else we're going to be going off a fiscal cliff, and that Congress really needs to pass it. And to put pressure on your congressmen or congresswomen, put pressure on them, write them, tweet them, call them, because honestly, these guys have the fate of Americans and the economy in their hands. So let's put some pressure on them. I played a video for you guys in one of my past videos that said up to 40% of Kentuckians have been hungry at one point or another during this pandemic. That's where Mitch McConnell's from, and yet they voted him in again. So let's put pressure on these guys to help us out to get through the end of this pandemic until these vaccines are readily available to everybody and we actually have a way out of this pandemic. Okay, next up, in every video, I'm bringing you guys new states, cities, and counties that are passing stimulus to their people of their state or county right now. These are programs that are already approved. These are programs that are already sending out money for stimulus checks, for unemployment checks, for mortgage and rent relief checks, for utility payments. So let me bring you some new ones now. I'm going to be trying to bring you guys new ones every single episode. So make sure you're subscribed with the bell icon on to all notifications. We typically go live at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The model for this week is New Mexico, who just passed a $330 million stimulus package from the New Mexico state legislator of $330 million, which includes a one-time $1,200 check to all types of unemployed workers and up to $50,000 for certain businesses. There was other things in there too, but testing and tracing, all sorts of different things. So $330 million from New Mexico. In addition to that, there's other states that are working on these programs too, and we're getting new ones every day by the day. Florida's First Coast Relief Fund has added $5 million in stimulus to looks like Jacksonville and Northeast Florida, which includes some individuals or households receive multiple services, support for mortgage and rent payments, food assistance, and utility payments make up more than 50% of the grant dollars awarded by this relief fund. So if you're from Florida, Jacksonville, Northeast Florida, Google the Florida First Coast Relief Fund. There's money in there for mortgage and rental assistance and other services. I will be bringing you more programs like this. If you know of any of these programs, leave them down below in the comments so I and the other viewers can see these programs. The faster we can alert our viewers to all these different programs in these states and cities, the better, so that we can help out our community of viewers. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Make sure to subscribe and share this video. And you can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video is about the higher taxes under the Biden administration. And this video teaches you how to start your own Amazon business. I teach people how to do that, and we have dozens of people that have replaced their 9-to-5 income. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.